Talking about the race panel, the race panel is designed very well. All the race images are very different characters, making it quite clear and it's easy to be recognized by players during the game. This is this is very helpful because there are tokens which have race images on it, and they will be put on the map. So how easy are they to be recognized is the key to make the game more playable. Also, the reversible wrist panel is a genius idea. Uh, on the front side, it indicates all the informations you need to play this race. Also, on the reverse side, it's black and white, which tells you that this race is into decline. Next, talk about the game board design. The small world has also provided different game boards based on the amount of players you are playing the game. So there are 2 players board, 3 players board, and also boards for 4 players and 5 players. You can see that on this board, there are some small difference. You can see the turns are shortened based on the player amount increase because it will cause the time you need for a round to be longer. Also, the map size, as the map size is different, the amount of areas is different. So every time you play this game with a different amount of players will give you different experience. The amount of the areas determine how many players can play and how many players can extend their kingdom on it, and also brings more strategies. Let's talk about the aesthetic of this game board. So every area are designed very well, and they are all focusing on 2 parts: the storytelling part and the accessibility part. uh, Talk about the storytelling part. All these areas are designed like combining to be a world, which is in the same line of the background story, and also it feels like there are races that are actually living on this fantasy world. Talk about the accessibility. To make this game board helpful, the neighboring areas are very different. You can easily tell that there's forest, lakes, oceans, swamps, mountains, a lot of different areas, and also they are all outlined so that you can easily separate them from each other to continue the game. This is very important. Next, talk about the various expansions. I think this is a very interesting part of the game design. Small World has also introduced several standalone variants and expansions. The standalone variant, the Small World Underground and the Small World of Warcraft, introduce new world, which having new themed maps, new races, and new abilities, which means that it might not be the same art style, it might not be the same background story with the original Small World game, but it has a new theme which allows you to experience a different world during your play. I love how the new races are very, like, extremely go well with the new map because they're in the same theme, obviously, in the same theme. And talk about the expansions, like the Sky Island on the right side. It introduces some flying races and introduce a map full of flying islands that floating on the sky. So expansions brings new maps and of course a little bit new races because it meant to be an add-on the original game. So because of that, all these races and all the map are sharing a world with the original game. So they are maintaining it into the same art style, some things like that. It's very tricky and it's hard to control. But in the common way, all the variants and expansions are the updates to the game that keeps bringing energy to the game, make you want to play it one more time, and brings more energy to its community. Talk about the technical writing. Headings and subheadings. Differentiated through the standard text with bold and dark color lettering. Headings and subheadings are giving ample space and bold detail to better allow for players to identify a specific spot in the rulebook they may need to refer to. For each tier of heading and subheading, a different color and size are used that remain mostly consistent, so that when you read the book, it's far more easier to find the thing that you are looking for. This tiered usage of size and font is also paired with numbering in the starting the game section. The subsections can also often be separated by a line with a symbol. So it organized the rule book really well. With the acceptation of setting up the game, each main section and the appendix section is labeled with a standard font used for most of the rows in large, dark red text, like what we're showing in the right side. Being the biggest size, they can separate aspects of the book into the largest categories one would wish to refer to it. Between components list, setup, rules, storage, and race or special power descriptions. There are used they are using the Roman numerals in the starting the game section to organize the progression of the game between the first turn and the turns after that with section 1, allowing for an introduction to the rules, and second, describing how the system will work as the game progresses. The Roman numeral subheadings are also used in the appendices and even colored differently, since storage tree organization can tie in more towards like physical management of the game pieces, and the description of races and special powers applying to their in-game effects and abilities. They arguably could have been the bold red headings, but they both make sense as appendices since they don't add to the basic explanation of roles. The mid-size text, Arabic numerals, and uh, numbered headings with Arabic numerals were mainly used in the first 10 section, since the section is already numbered with Roman numerals, and in particularly, it is meant to introduce how turns play out. The similar blue text is used for later subsections. So the mini headings labeled with marks usually highlight the main elements and steps of these subsections. They typically represent different possible scenarios in game state that are not necessarily applicable to every experience, nor in the exact same order. These marks are also used for the races and special powers appendix. They don't really need to be numbered or ordered, since they are all meant to be an equal footing, like they're all same. Each small description of a race or special power is also labeled with its name in the mini heading size text for simple scheming.